how would you react if one of the ex-wives wanted to return
Return to the
to the family?
Hope is dangerous sometimes.
Hope is dangerous, but so is Robyn Brown, so pick your poison, I suppose. The slow motion implosion of the Brown family has been a central narrative thread on Sister Wives for over a decade, culminating in a rapid and total family collapse. It was a family structure that began with a mission statement to prove that love should be multiplied, not divided. And now that has functionally collapsed. Kody Brown is left with only his fourth wife, Robyn. Following the sequential departures of Christine, Janelle, and Mary, the carefully constructed plural empire has absolutely crumbled. Now, Kody and Robyn exist in their oversized Flagstaff McMansion 2.0, haunted by the ghosts of the bustling plural family they once performatively championed. Throughout this entire saga, the entire Sister Wives series, Robyn Brown has meticulously curated a very specific persona. She has consistently articulated this narrative where she is the wife who entered the family with this pure desire for sister wives, the one who is grieving the dissolution of the plural structure, the one who held on to the dream of growing old in rocking chairs alongside her sister wives. She has presented herself very specifically as a victim of the choices of others, the last loyal soldier on a deserted battlefield. But within the controlled environment of a production confessional, a single unexpected question can function as psychological truth serum. We just saw one question strip away the performance and expose the raw, unfiltered psychopath beneath. This was so wild to witness. I really can't believe a producer's question completely shattered Robyn's composure the way we just saw it do. It really reveals what appears to be her deepest seated anxiety. It wasn't a question about the past or blame or the articulated pain of the family structure. It was a question about a hypothetical future, a possibility so jarring to Robyn that her system was rendered momentarily incoherent. Her reaction communicated a truth far more potent than any of her rehearsed lines ever could. We have a lot to talk about. Let's get into today's video. Hey everyone, what's up? It's Sarah and welcome back to my channel. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Season 20 is shaping up to really be one of my favorite seasons of Sister Wives of all time. I don't think we will ever see again Kody and Robyn be so authentically clueless about how they're coming across to viewers. To fully grasp the psychological weight of this moment, one must first understand this new paradigm. The Brown family as a plural entity has officially ceased to exist. Christine Brown announced her separation from Kody in late 2021, and she has since remarried. She's established a new life far from Flagstaff. Then Janelle followed, confirming her separation from Kody in late 2022, choosing her personal autonomy and her children finally over a relationship with Kody that was no longer functional. And then finally, Mary, who had existed in a state of spiritual and emotional purgatory with Kody for far too long, officially terminated their marriage via a joint statement in January of 2023. This mass exodus left Robyn as the de facto victor in what many viewers perceived as a zero-sum game for Kody's affection and resources. For years, observers have highlighted the systemic inequities, feeling Kody's time, finances, and even his emotional bandwidth was always disproportionately allocated towards Robyn and her children, leaving the other wives and their children feeling marginalized. Janelle herself has even posited on the show that Kody has made himself even more villainous in a strategic move to take away some of the blame from Robyn for the family's implosion. Whether it was intentional or something that happened by default, Robyn was left with the one thing many suspected was her ultimate goal, a monogamous marriage with Kody Brown. They now inhabit their huge, isolated home, a kingdom for two, while the rest of the family has scattered. Yet Robyn's public narrative has remained one of profound heartbreak over the loss of the plural family. She has performed her grief. She has verbalized her sorrow, and she has positioned herself as the sole keeper of that original dream. And then a producer asked the one simple question that put the entire narrative to the test.
How would you react if one of the ex-wives wanted to return
Return to the
to the
family?
family?
Am I like, what? Really? I would be very surprised. I don't want to even answer this because I'm just like,
Okay,
yeah. So making me sad right now.
I'm sorry. What's
No, because you like just opened this little portal of hope, and I'm just like, I didn't even think of that. And now I'm just like, what if, and I'm going down that road. I can't, just, I gotta move away from that because I'll fall apart and I can't be on this set. Okay, hope is dangerous sometimes.
Listen, the confessional setting is a controlled environment. It's a space where reality TV participants can construct and reinforce their personal narratives. These cast members are veterans. They know this process intimately. They arrive prepared with their talking points, ready to shape the seasonal arc in their favor. Robyn in particular has historically utilized this space with masterful precision. She often employs performative grief to position herself as the most loyal and devastated party in the family's dissolution. But during this one confessional, a producer asks a question that bypasses her prepared defenses. They didn't ask about a past event. They asked about a hypothetical future. The question was disarmingly simple. How would you react if one of the ex-wives wanted to return? On the surface, for someone who claims to desperately mourn her sister wives, this question should be a softball. If Robyn's grief over the loss of her plural family was authentic, the answer should be instinctual and immediate. Something like, of course, our door is always open. We would love to begin the healing process. This response would have been perfectly congruent with her established narrative. But that is not what occurred. Instead, what we witnessed was a profound cognitive and emotional short-circuiting. The carefully constructed persona didn't just slip, it fractured in real time. The instant this question was posed, Robyn's entire demeanor shifted. The reaction that followed was not of a woman longing for family reunion, but of someone confronting what appeared to be her very worst nightmare. First, there was a state of pure cognitive dissonance. Her face contorted into a grimace of confusion. She stutters. Return to the family? As if she couldn't process the semantic meaning of the word. This was not the expression of someone who had been fantasizing about reconciliation. This was the expression of someone processing a threat she had believed she had neutralized. For a full 10 seconds, this woman was frozen, shaking her head in a silent, visceral, and emphatic no. Next came some classic displacement behaviors. She said, I would be very surprised. She giggled, a nervous deflection. I don't want to even answer this because I'm just like... She trails off, unable to formulate a coherent thought. This is significant. Robyn is rarely at a loss for words when defending her position or articulating her perceived victimhood. But here, faced with a scenario she could not immediately spin, her verbal capabilities absolutely failed her. She was completely caught off guard, and her processing seemed to overload. What followed was the most telling move. As she struggled, tears began to well. But the justification she provided is just a masterclass in what could only be interpreted as psychological projection. She claimed, this is making me sad right now because you just opened this portal of hope. And I'm just like, I didn't even think of that. And now I'm just like, what if? She attempts to reframe her distress as sadness stemming from new hope. But this idea is immediately contradicted by her panicked, almost repulsed physical reaction. Her breakdown culminates in a hard refusal to even entertain this hypothetical. I can't. I've got to move away from that because I'll fall apart and I can't be on this set. And then she delivered the line that exposed the entire subtext. Hope is dangerous sometimes. This single sentence is the key. The hope of the family reuniting is not a comfort to her. It is a danger. It is a threat. This did not appear to be about sadness of a broken dream. It looked like the terror of her current reality being dismantled. She had to shut down the thought, not because the fantasy was too beautiful, but because the possibility was too terrifying. In my opinion, this raw moment arguably provides more data than a dozen seasons of curated confessionals. Robyn's reaction was not just an emotional slip-up. It was a deeply revealing window into her authentic feelings about the Brown family structure, polygamy, and her own role within it. First, it's obvious Robyn has a profound fear of competition. For years, Robyn existed as Kody's favored wife. She still had to navigate a system of 3 other women, but she was always the favorite. Now she has him entirely to herself. Her life is, for all intents and purposes, monogamous. The horror in her response to a wife returning suggests she is terrified of reintroducing competition into the relational system. In her interpretation here, she's already won the game, and winning is the most important thing to Robyn. The thought of another player re-entering the field is her worst case scenario. Additionally, it calls the authenticity of her entire plural family narrative into question. If she genuinely mourned the loss of her sister wives, one would expect the hope of one returning to be at minimum a complex but welcome thought. Instead, she explicitly labels this as dangerous. Dangerous to what precisely? It is dangerous to the status quo. It is dangerous to her uncontested position as the one and only wife. It is dangerous to the quiet, if isolated life she has secured with Kody, free from the inherent conflicts of plural marriage. Her claim that she didn't even think of that is either a stunning bluff or a shocking display of self-delusion, suggesting that in her mental framework, the chapter on the plural family, at least with Mary, Janelle, and Christine, is definitely permanently closed. This moment also appears to illuminate her perception of the other women. Her reaction wasn't specific, like, I wonder if Janelle would ever forgive Kody. It was abstract horror. The idea of any wife returning was enough to trigger a system failure. I think this means Robyn doesn't view them as individuals that she misses, but as interchangeable threats to her relational security. This aligns with Janelle's observation about Kody creating a villain edit for himself as a smokescreen to protect Robyn. Robyn's security appears to be predicated on their permanent absence. Finally, the phrase "hope is dangerous" is just a profound admission. For a family that is fractured, particularly for Kody's children who have lost access to their father, hope for reconciliation is a powerful, life-affirming force. Hope is all Kody's kids have at this point. But for Robyn, that same hope appears to be a destabilizing agent. It threatens the life she has now. It confirms what many viewers have long suspected, that Robyn's dream wasn't just to be any old wife in a plural family, but to be the top wife, the only wife that mattered. And now that she has achieved that status, her reaction here suggests she will do anything to protect it. In the end, this was a simple hypothetical question that accomplished what years of interpersonal conflict could not. It seemingly forced an unconscious confession, revealing the underlying framework of Robyn Brown's motivations. The stuttering, the grimacing, the panicked shutdown, it all painted a picture of a woman who isn't merely grieving the loss of a plural family, but is terrified of losing her status in the family she feels like she won. Her attempt to reframe her panic as being caused by a portal of hope was a weak bullshit defense against what appears to be a much deeper fear. The hope wasn't for the Brown family to heal. It was the hope that she could maintain her reality. Robyn was living her very best life in those early pandemic days in Flagstaff. She got to live mostly monogamously with Kody while knowing she was the legal favorite wife of a man who had 3 hostages funding her lavish lifestyle and securing her spot in that Bloomingdale's heaven. Her statement that hope is dangerous will likely be remembered as one of her most honest, albeit accidental, things she has ever said on camera. The hope of Christine, Janelle, or Mary ever returning is, judging by her reaction, a direct threat to her hard-won security. The queen is alone with the king in the castle, and this moment revealed she is deeply, profoundly afraid of anyone ever trying to cross this moat of isolation that they've created again. As always, let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to my channel. Check out my second channel, Sarah Spills, and my podcast, Mostly Harmless. Links for both of those will be in the description of this video. Follow me on Instagram, Threads, X, and TikTok at Reality Squad, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Take care. Have a good one. Much love.